What is my body's purpose? Is my body a random gathering of cells? I mean, the protons and neutrons that form my matter, is that what really makes me matter? When the Big Bang shot and the stars were scattered, created life and the things that was to follow after, is that what placed my spine over bladder? Every waking second that my heart beats or the thoughts that I keep, is it the only to be studied, a form of biology? Is that the only thing that's supposed to flow out of me? Is this the way that my life is meant to be spent? Does the body that create antibodies only have purpose of being worth that entire event? And what about my soul? Does that really exist? If science speaks on observations, then the unexplainable goes unanswered and that can never be adequate. Or maybe my body was meant to be random. No intention to be anything more. Art means nothing. Love, emotions mean nothing. The randomness just happened to align. And it created beings with an autonomous mind that just so happened to be a perfect distance from a huge star that when it shines, those random bodies aren't burned up by the solar rays that come from the skies. And everything must be going to nothing. I mean, my ancestors, the free ones, earlier on decided life is better when we group together, male and female being yoked forever, because it just seemed to fit the random design. Their random biology screamed, it's better to be a couple than to be alone. With natural selection, grouping was protection to remain insulated in a survival zone. And inward motivations were not a determining factor. The convenience of random material seemed to be what drove their bodies to randomly ever after. Or maybe my life was meant to be lived for me. I'm the one that dictates everything for me. My desire sets the rules for my body as the tools, no need for accountability. See, as life is about me, then I set the pace, beat my own drum, produce my own song. With relativity ahead of me, then there's no way that I could ever be wrong. And I feel that freedom that it gives. I flourish in my individuality. King of my throne, life is about me and I govern my reality. Navigation system set to my own will. As long as I'm in the driver's seat, then my innermost being will always be fulfilled. And the emptiness that I may feel means my desires are changing, of course, and it's time for another fix. I know myself so well that although I don't know where all of this stuff can lead, I can always predict. And naturally, I encounter other bodies, but to me, they're just no bodies. If they come between my will, then it makes me feel like I can end somebody. You become food on my dinner plate. And even if that becomes a mistake, the only problem my body being my own creates is I become a victimizer and I leave bodies in my wake. Or maybe my body is meant to be for other people. A punching bag for someone else's aggression. No matter what they could feel about the color of my body, they can just use their weapon. Feel the way that you feel because I would exist for your bigotry. Doesn't matter how I tell, doesn't change the shells that you can put into me. If I exist for this purpose, then you can use me as more than just your enemy. Take me from my home. Force me into labor. I mean, I would exist for your industry. My body beats to your drum now, and you create the beat. No matter if I'm eating Skittles, sitting in my own house, or now jogging on the street. Does my body exist for your purpose? Then there's no need for me to object. No matter if it's your body's privilege that you're trying to protect, then your views of me and the way you treat people that look like me, I will always have to accept. And even if I scream that my life matters, it will only remain as quiet as you think it should be kept. If my body is meant for other people, then it doesn't matter who hurts me. No matter how I got here, I'm always at someone else's mercy. But what if my body was made for something greater? And isn't truly worthless. Not science, not random, not for myself and not for others, but for a larger purpose. Something unlike what I can conjure in my own strength or even envision. What if there was a being, something larger than life that created all life and made me out of his image? My body would be made of dust and he would breathe life in it. Then my purposes would be his purposes until he said it was finished. See, that was me until I broke off of my design. A painting hopping off of his canvas, looking for a land never charted. Removed the harness and took the brush out of the creator's hand when after the things that he created, turned around and said, forget the artist. I used my body to rally against a benevolent being that was flawless. He sent his perfect son to once again breathe life into a carcass. He punished the perfect one and went after the dearly departed to bring back those who could never come near and will remain stone-hearted and restore their bodies to his body by breaking a body that bleeds a liquid that's colored scarlet. washes everything clean so our bodies could be redeemed and we can be back where we started. See, my body was created for Jesus, to connect with his larger body for his plans and removing my pride, so that once it's all said and done, he unveils the larger body on that day and he'll be rejoined to his bride.